Hi, it's WRTV's Ray Steele. I hope you like this video. In fact, I hope you will click that like button down there and click the subscribe button too so you don't miss the new stuff. Or you can click the subscribe button at the end of this video. Really appreciate it.
Getting the political insiders back together again in the wake of the Roe versus Wade ruling, the overturning of almost 50 years of Supreme Court precedent today by the current U.S. Supreme Court. Republican Jim Merritt, Rima Shahid joining us to talk about the ruling and what happens from here in Indiana. Jim, we'll start with you on the Republican side. This is something that Republicans have worked for decades, and now it's finally come to fruition. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking that this special session probably went from 10 minutes of cutting taxes to they'll probably be in session a good part of July. And there are a lot of questions that are being that are looking for answers. And I think the legislature will have to have a full-throated transparent conversation about this issue, as well as the tax cutting. So I would expect the legislature to be in for some time in July.
Rima, certainly no surprise, really, I don't think, from anyone as far as the ruling itself. We kind of saw this coming with the release of the draft opinion. I think the only question was whether there would be any changes in composition of the final vote from what the draft opinion made it appear like. And it looks like they stuck to that 6-3 majority. But your reaction now that it has finally come to fruition that Roe v. Wade as settled law, or what we thought was settled law, is no more.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. And I first want to point out that I'm the CEO of Women4Change, and we are a nonpartisan organization. But what we do is put women first. And so from that perspective, we knew, so many of us, that this was coming, and certainly the leaked article showed us even more signs. But the frustration and the angst and the disappointment are very much there. You know, this is setting women back and people back at least 50 years. And when we think about all the progress that we have made in 50 years, what are the setbacks going to be, not just for now, but for 50 more years to come? And why are we setting back women and families and prioritizing people's belief over lives is my question.
And that leads us to where we are going in Indiana now. As Jim, as you alluded to, the special session already was called by the governor to deal with inflation relief. Now, obviously, this is on the table. The governor has said so himself. I guess the question is right now, Republicans are in the supermajority. They can do pretty much what they want to do. How far do you think they will go below the 20 weeks, which is the current state law, as to when abortion can legally take place?
Well, that's really the big question. And the priority for me as a legislator for 30 years was life. And I think there are a large amount of legislators that feel the same way. And to kind of shove this off into session next year, that boat will float. And so there will be a lot of conversation. Right now, the state of Nebraska is debating, and I think the governor is going to sign a bill that disallows abortion in total. And so you have that standpoint, and then you have the 15 weeks point of view as an issue. And this is an issue that there are a lot of opinions about. What I hope the Republican Party does is addresses this, comes to a conclusion, but also puts an emphasis on crisis pregnancy centers, puts an emphasis on adoption, and makes law and as well as funding situations such as this, so that we can serve people.
Rima, as I said, whatever Republicans want to do, given the majorities, cannot be stopped. For those who are in favor of abortion rights, we've heard about rallies. There's going to be continuous protests starting almost immediately, going for however long. Certainly they'll show up once this special session starts. but what can your side do when you're really powerless to stop whatever Republican lawmakers wish to impose here?
Well, I think that, they are poised and they're ready. They've already alluded to the fact that they're ready to take away rights from women to make decisions about their families and about their own health. Um, Make no question about it that they can stop legal abortions, but that's not going to stop abortions. But what that's going to do is put more risk at the lives of women and families today. It happened prior to 1973, and it's going to happen, unfortunately, now. And while these decisions do not represent the overall sentiment of, of Americans and of Hoosiers, when they take away our rights to make decisions about our bodies, but what people forget is that we still have the right to make a decision about who represents us. And so if you are feeling as frustrated and upset as I am today, remember that frustration come November.
Jim, do Republicans run the risk of going too far during the special session ahead of midterm elections? Or, given the composition of the state, given the fact that even though polls have shown a majority of Hoosiers favor at least some abortion rights in at least some instances, and at the same time, Republicans have an overwhelming supermajority. So, in the end, there's a thinking that it might not really matter. But what kind of risk do Republicans run if, say, they went to that extreme, if they tried to do the Nebraska complete abortion ban?
Well, this is a red state. This is a conservative state. And legislators, a large majority of those legislators understand. They go to the grocery, they go to church, they go to the gym. They know their constituents, and their constituents are conservative. And whatever they decide, and if it would be the Nebraska decision, if you will, or something in regards to the life of the mother, or life of the baby, or the incest, those issues that come into play. And that's really that's the detail that has to be fleshed out, because who's going to be making that decision about the life of the mother? It's going to be that physician. And I just hope that they take their time and have a thoughtful decision, and hear all comers, have a transparency about the process. And I think that'll happen. The legislature can go into session for 30 business days or 40 calendar days. And then if they don't get something settled, the governor has an opportunity to recall them. So there is a time clock here. And I certainly hope they take their time and make a very good decision about this very important issue that many Hoosiers are concerned about.
And I would just offer to that last year, Women4Change, we commissioned a study by Dr. Christopher Warshaw, and whose study was not welcomed by everyone, but never rebutted. And that showed that Indiana is not a red state. Rather, Indiana is a purple state with a gerrymandered supermajority. And I think that Hoosiers through all 92 counties will remember the decision that will come on and or after July 6th.
Do you have enough to overcome that gerrymander if that's the case? And not only that, but everybody talks about our short attention spans now. We've got not only this going on, we have the January 6th hearings going on, and we're still several months out from an election. And oh, by the way, we also have $5 a gallon gas. We've got a lot of things going on. How do you and your side overcome that at the ballot box?
Well, it took 50 years for those that are looking to limit women's reproductive rights. It took them 50 years to get here. And so it's going to be a long battle. But I think people need to stay eyes wide open and remember that they need to keep fighting back.
Our political insiders, Jim Merritt, Rima Shahid, on a very controversial issue that we're going to be talking about a lot for quite some time, naturally. I've been talking about it for 50 years, and it's not going away anytime soon. Jim, Rima, thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.